In the vast state of Texas, a silent battle unfolds every day between hardworking farmers striving to protect their crops and millions of wild boars multiplying out of control. These animals don't just tear up farmland, they also threaten native wildlife, spread diseases, and cause billions of dollars in damage to American agriculture. But instead of giving in, Texas farmers have taken a different approach, turning the threat into an opportunity. They're taming, trapping, and processing wild boars into food, protecting their land while providing clean, sustainable protein for their communities. It's no coincidence that wild boars have become a nightmare for farmers. These animals aren't native to the Americas. The first boars were brought to the continent in the 16th century by European explorers like Christopher Columbus. Then, in the 19th century, another wave was imported from Europe for sport hunting. But many escaped into the wild, reproduced rapidly, and became an ecological threat. Wild boars grow fast and move with ease through forests, rivers, and vast fields. A single herd can destroy an entire cornfield overnight. They compete for food with native species like deer and turkeys, and even raid the nests of endangered animals like the gopher tortoise. But the threat doesn't stop there. Wild boars are also carriers of dangerous diseases that can spread to livestock, including foot and mouth disease and African swine fever. In some cases, they can even attack pets or humans when provoked. It's no surprise that these animals cause over $2.5 billion in damages each year, with Texas alone losing more than $50 million annually in agricultural losses. One of the pioneers in fighting back against this wave of destruction is Mary Thompson, a 70-year-old farmer living in East Texas. After losing nearly a fifth of her corn crop to wild boars, she decided enough was enough. Mary began learning how to track them, looking for footprints, torn up soil, and signs near rivers or wooded areas where boars usually roam. She scattered bait like corn and vegetable scraps, then patiently monitored the site. Even checking the traps had to be done carefully, making sure not to leave human scent that might scare the boars off. Once the animals became comfortable returning, she set up a metal trap, large enough to hold several boars, yet compact enough to move with her truck. In a time when fertilizer and fuel prices keep rising, this hands-on approach became the most practical solution for her farm. Texas law allows wild boar hunting year-round, and the U.S. government spends tens of millions of dollars each year to help farmers manage the growing population. But not everyone has access to these support programs. For Mary, trapping and processing the boars herself remains the most effective and hands-on way to protect her land. Once trapped, the boars are processed on-site to ensure both humane treatment and biosecurity. Farmers typically aim for the head to ensure a quick and ethical kill. Gloves are always worn to reduce the risk of disease transmission. While some farmers prepare the meat for their own families, most send the animals to professional processing facilities. One such facility is Broken Arrow Ranch, which handles between 1,500 and 1,700 wild boars annually. They select only animals weighing between 80 and 180 pounds, the ideal range for tender, flavorful meat with lower risk of disease. The wild boar meat is then sent to USDA-approved processing facilities, where it undergoes strict food safety inspections and packaging. Across the entire U.S., only 15 facilities are certified to handle wild boar meat due to the high risk of disease if not processed properly. Beyond commercial processors, the meat is also sold at farmers markets, served at local restaurants, or donated to food banks. From sausages to hearty stews, wild boar meat is growing in popularity thanks to its bold flavor, firm texture, and more affordable price compared to other organic meats. In 2025, rising farming costs continue to put pressure on small producers. But for some, wild boar meat has become an unexpected source of income. Mary says selling boar meat at her local market each week brings in enough money to keep her farm running without needing to take out loans. Mary's story is far from unique. Across Texas, more and more farmers are turning a destructive pest into a valuable resource. It's a practical solution that not only helps control an invasive species, but also feeds local communities, a model worth learning from in this era of sustainable food systems. Unlike industrial meat, wild boar is typically processed by hand, one animal at a time. To ensure safety, every step, from cleaning and skinning to butchering, must be done quickly and precisely. Once the meat is separated, it's immediately chilled on ice to preserve freshness and prevent spoilage. Larger wild boars tend to carry more pathogens. That's why processors often prefer animals under 70 pounds. They're easier to handle and offer better meat quality. Cuts like the shoulder, belly, ribs, and loin are carefully sorted. Throughout the process, workers wear gloves, sanitize knives, and disinfect surfaces regularly to meet strict food safety standards. Although most wild boars live freely in the wild, a small number are now being raised by farmers in controlled environments. These pigs are fed a balanced diet of corn, soybeans, and barley, combined with alfalfa hay and leafy greens to mimic their natural foraging habits. Some farmers even add fruits, vegetables, and root crops to diversify their nutrition. Scheduled feeding times help manage weight gain and reduce aggressive behavior. The herds are closely monitored for health, with constant access to clean water. This style of farming is emerging as a sustainable solution, offering clean, high-quality meat while easing the ecological pressure caused by wild populations. Trapping remains one of the most common and effective methods for managing wild boar populations. Farmers often use cage traps, box traps, and drop nets near feeding areas. These sites are baited with high-fiber foods to attract healthy, well-nourished boars, ideal for both processing and meat quality. Participating in the trapping process is also a way for local communities to contribute to ecosystem protection. When wild boars are brought under control, farmland, native plants, and wildlife all benefit. Plus, the harvested meat can be used for personal consumption or sold, providing an added source of income. Compared to conventionally farmed pork, wild boar meat contains 20% less fat and is richer in protein, iron, zinc, and B vitamins. On average, a 3-ounce 85G serving of wild boar has about 143 calories and just 4.5 grams of fat, significantly leaner than standard pork. Prices typically range from $15 to $25 per pound, depending on the cut and market demand. Products like wild boar sausage, cured meats, and bacon are especially popular for their bold flavor and high nutritional value. These benefits are helping wild boar meat gain traction in upscale restaurants, organic grocery stores, and local farmers markets across the country. The story of wild boars is a powerful example of American farmers' creativity and resilience. Once seen as an ecological disaster, these animals have been transformed into a source of clean, sustainable, and economically valuable meat. You can be part of the solution too by buying wild boar meat at your local market, supporting farmers, and enjoying unique, flavorful meals. If you spot wild boars near your area, report them to the USDA's Squeal on Pigs program to help protect the environment. And don't forget to follow Farm to Factory to explore more fascinating journeys, from wild creatures to the food on your plate.